This is Edges Soften with Patience, number 7 out of 7. Spring returned to the city with its slow unfurling of light. The air smelled of wet earth and budding leaves, and Albina found herself walking more often. It was as if the season's gentle awakening coaxed her out of doors, her senses coming alive after a long winter. She walked past busy intersections and quiet parks, her footsteps echoing the steady beat of a distant construction site. Each step, each turn felt deliberate, loosening the rigid rhythm of her thoughts. One morning, her path took her past a community garden tucked between two looming apartment blocks. Sunlight slanted through the chain-link fence, outlining patches of green nestled in the concrete. A handwritten sign dangling from the fence read, "Repair Workshop, all welcome." Curiosity tugged at Albina, drawing her toward the open gate. Inside, the space buzzed with activity. Children sat at a table, carefully applying glue to a chipped toy truck. At another corner, a group of elders worked on restoring a set of wooden chairs, their hands moving with practiced ease. Near the shed, a pair of teenagers concentrated on restringing a guitar, their brows furrowed in concentration. And at the far end, a woman with silver hair bent over a broken ceramic vase, her nimble fingers tracing the fractured edges. Her movements were precise, delicate, and she seemed oblivious to everyone else. As Albina stood there watching, mesmerized, a man with a warm smile and calloused hands approached. "Can I help you?" he asked, his eyes crinkling at the corners. Albina stammered, self-consciously clutching the strap of her tote bag. Then she gestured vaguely toward the woman with the vase. How is that possible? The vase, it's broken." "Ah, yes, but she's fixing it," the man said, chuckling. Come in. "Would you like to join us?" Hesitantly, Albina stepped inside. She had no intention of staying long, just long enough to satisfy her curiosity. She settled onto a stool, pulled her tote bag closer, and unwrapped the cloth bundle inside. The others gathered around, their faces alight with interest as they saw the object she held so carefully. It was her grandmother's teacup, the one Hiroki had repaired. She had brought it often lately, as if carrying a piece of her new philosophy. Its familiar weight grounded her, the golden seams stark against the stark white porcelain. "Beautiful," whispered a woman with paint-stained hands, her eyes wide with admiration. "How did you learn to do this?" For a moment, Albina faltered. She had been so careful to keep these two worlds separate, her old life of pristine minimalism and the messy, vibrant world of Hiroki and Lena. But here, in this welcoming space surrounded by the scent of sawdust and the murmur of shared stories, the walls she had built crumbled. Slowly, steadily, she spoke of Hiroki, of the philosophy of Kintsugi, of the way fractures could be honored, celebrated even. Her voice, once tight and hesitant, now rang with a newfound steadiness. She told them about Lena, not with bitterness, not with shame, but simply, honestly. She spoke of how loss could cut deep, how grief could leave you shattered and gasping for breath. Yet she emphasized how healing did not mean erasing or forgetting the pain. It meant weaving gold through what remained, making the scars part of the story. As she spoke, she looked around the room and saw the quiet attention in everyone's eyes. Some nodded, some shook their heads slowly, as if letting her words settle into their own memories of breakage. Albina realized that what she had carried alone was not hers alone. Everyone here, in their own way, was piecing themselves together, mending not only objects, but also the fragments of their lives. Her grandmother's cup sat between them, a silent witness to generations of resilience. When she finished her story, a comfortable silence fell over the room. It was not an awkward silence, but a space filled with understanding, a shared acknowledgement of the fragility and strength of life. In the weeks that followed, Albina became a regular at the workshop. She helped mend chipped bowls, cracked picture frames, and even a porcelain figurine missing half its arm. She taught what Hiroki had taught her, But she also listened to stories of loss, of resilience, of things once thought ruined, now made precious. Her own apartment, once a showcase of sleek sterility, began to hum with life. Sketches gathered on the table, uneven but honest. Books lay scattered in comfortable disorder. A plant she had nearly killed by the window thrived, its leaves broad and unashamed. And in the evenings, she brewed tea in her grandmother's cup, savoring its weight, its history. She started taking longer walks, discovering hidden paths and secluded gardens. She even found joy in the imperfections of the city, the graffiti art on a subway wall, the mismatched tiles lining a shop's facade. She began to see beauty in the brokenness, to appreciate the stories etched into every crack and crevice. Then there were the people, the friendly nods from neighbors, the shared smiles with strangers, the camaraderie of those who understood the value of mending, both in objects and in lives. Faces that once seemed indifferent now held a wealth of kindness, a testament to the healing power of human connection. Albina noticed something else in herself. She smiled more, sometimes to herself, sometimes to others. She even caught her reflection in shop windows and did not look away. Her life was no longer flawless, but it was whole. One late afternoon, as she locked the gate after a particular lively workshop, she paused and looked at her hands. They bore faint stains of lacquer, small golden flecks caught under her nails. The sight filled her with quiet wonder. Once she had hidden her cracks, polishing her life into a glossy silence. Now she carried gold in her seams, visible for all to see. The city around her pulsed with ordinary life, buses rumbling, children shouting, leaves rustling overhead. Albina breathed it in and felt herself in rhythm with it all, not perfect, not unbroken, but enduring. She touched the tote bag at her side, the cup inside safe and gleaming, and whispered again the phrase that had carried her through, "I am not ruined." This time she did not need the gold to answer. The world itself seemed to shimmer back, affirming that yes, she was whole, she was enough, she was home. And so spring turned to summer, the city throbbed with life, and Albina walked on, her steps lighter, her heart fuller. The golden rhythm of kintsugi pulsed within her, a constant reminder that in the tapestry of life, every thread, no matter how broken, finds its place in the grand design. Her story, once marred by silence and loss, now resonated with the melody of resilience. Like the potter who shapes clay, she molded her life, embracing the cracks, honoring the scars, and finding beauty in the flawed perfection of it all. Thank you for joining me on this journey. May the philosophy of kintsugi bring you strength and solace. And remember, in the grand tapestry of life, every thread, no matter how broken, has a purpose. Until next time, may your days be filled with golden moments and your heart with unwavering strength.